You guys, not too many people can be impartial. Not too many people can be objective and really look at what's being said, really kind of focus on the context. And again, that's what bringing insight is all about. And this is why we have diverse thought on YouTube. So you can go and get different perspectives from different people. You guys, this type of conversation is what I do on this channel a lot. As you already know, we cover a lot of topics and discussion about race, racism, white supremacy, white privilege, all of those things. I love talking about that stuff and challenging people. For those who don't know, right, there's this thing that's unfolding right now on YouTube, at least within this segment, right? I personally, is it a big deal? It's a big deal. It's a big deal for a lot of different reasons. For those who might not know some of the people involved, we're going to be discussing them. Just Pearly Things. Just Pearly Things. Those who are not familiar with who she is, um, maybe, hopefully, she has a pretty large. She has a large channel. I won't say pretty large. I think she has over 1 million subscribers on her channel, and she's known for a lot of red pill conversations, I guess you would call it, for those who are not familiar. Like, here's the thing: I'm going to give kind of like a brief summary. I don't know how much people know about the other side or different sides or segments of YouTube, right? So there's what they call. Shout out to you again on Gray Pill Podcast. There are segments of YouTube we call the manosphere, right? It's male driven, male centric content, and then there is, of course, all these different little spheres that they have where people, kind of galvanize their content to speak towards their issues. Now, the manosphere, like, I'm not a part of the manosphere. I don't make manosphere content. I make content for everyone, I think, just in general. But as far as specifically, no. But people would argue that Kevin Samuels, right, was a part of the manosphere. His content was male centric content. It was pro male, even though his content really expanded over not just men, but men and women, relationships, image, and things of that nature. So, anyways, so Pearly Things, just Pearly Things, she's from the UK. She was born in the UK. She's not American. And she is a content creator. And I've seen some of her stuff. I've never been to her page until today, or actually went to her YouTube channel to kind of learn more. But I've heard her do interviews. I've heard her debate people. And a lot of her stances are against feminism, right? She's, one could argue, kind of like a male advocate from what I've seen. I haven't seen all of her content. It's just me based on some of the videos that I've seen. She's like a male advocate, kind of standing up for men's rights or men's not having the rights that they should have, and then combating a lot of the feminist narrative that goes on in media and so forth and so on. So she talks a lot about, I would say I've seen things where she's talked a lot about red pill stuff and red pill content. For those who don't know, too much to get into, but basically men who are awake and they are standing up for uh they're anti-feminism, right? That's the best way to put it. And men are kind of like reclaiming their value as men, and they're letting it be known, right? And so I don't want to do the definition any harm. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't I don't really talk a lot about red pill content stuff. I'll go to other channels, and if conversations come up, then I'll speak on it. I'll speak on different, and mainly from my understanding, a lot of the red pill stuff has a lot to do with relationships. Is what I've seen on YouTube, right? It was something I was not familiar with until I came on YouTube and noticed it was a whole world, right, of content. And so, from what I've seen, it's a very popular subject matter: relationships, especially in the Black YouTube space, about Black men and Black women dynamics, why relationships are not doing great in modern times. There's a there is a back and forth between men and women, right? So boom, 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 boom. So that's where a lot of these conversations are coming from. Well, Pearly Things is a white woman, and she has been a strong advocate for men's rights, equal rights, and kind of feminism, from my understanding. And so, but please go and check her out. Her channel's called Just Pearly Things. I did tag her on the video since this is going to be about her and another gentleman by the name of Nick Fuentes. And so we're going to dive into what kind of happened, why this interview is something we're going to be reviewing. It's a 3-hour interview. We're not doing all that, but I did timestamp some key areas that I want to discuss and I want to kind of bring out into this conversation. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts and my perspective, someone who is not emotionally driven and emotionally attached, right? And I can give a objective perspective as to what happened and what was being said. So Just Pearly Things has gotten extremely popular from what I understand. I've seen her do collaborations with Black YouTubers in this space. For example, most recent, like MTR, for those who know who MTR is, he's a pretty good content creator. I've seen a lot of his stuff. She has been in TLA. She's been on TLA's channel discussing incidents. She's been on the roommates. She had a debate with the roommates. What's his name? Hafez. I think Hafiz. I think is how you pronounce his name. So she's been, and she's garnered a lot of attention based on her debate style and questioning and things of that nature. And from what I've seen a lot of support from Black men from on the YouTube side who has kind of uplifted her in a sense and helped promote her because they like I guess they like what she stands for and kind of her positions that she takes. And also people also have to understand the business of YouTube where when you see content creators who are doing really well, you want to collaborate with them because it gives you an opportunity to also grow your channel. And so as now again, she has 1 million subscribers. So people want to be a part of what she's building. It helps them get exposure. So there's been a very popular shift for a long time. I've only been on YouTube for almost going on a year. I've seen a lot of direction leaning towards relationship conversation. That is like the thing, right? Again, shout out to you, Widow21, showing some support, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. You guys, this is going to be a tough conversation, kind of almost like the last stream that I had. Again, when we start talking about race, it's a sensitive topic for a lot of people. Over here on my channel, I do facts over feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. Bless your heart. And you already know you're more than welcome to come up here and challenge the points. I always tell people, leave your feelings aside. Don't come over here trying to insult me or try to shame me, right? Or try to throw insults. Come up here and dispute the things that I'm saying. And that's how you hold your argument, right? And I'm gonna tell you what I have an issue with this subject matter that we're going to talk about tonight is that in my opinion, there's been some overreactions, right? And I think there's been a little overreactions because now Just Pearly Things has been all throughout the Black space, participating in conversations with everybody, right? She's from the UK. She's had all different types of, I guess, interactions with different ethnic groups. But now the things that I'm seeing from people's comments, from videos that they're discussing about her based on this that we're going to talk about, now they're calling her a racist. They're calling her a racist because of some statements that she made during an interview. We're going to play it. But the difference between what I play and what other people have been playing, guys, I have the full clip. We're going to play the full context of statements that were made so that people can get a more well-rounded view as to what was said. What tend to happen is people take sound bites and then they have a emotional response or an emotional reaction. You guys, I'm not going to do that to you. We're going to play the clip appropriately and let you hear it. And then we're going to have a discussion about it, an honest one. And so this is why I love discussing race, race relations, race, racism, white supremacy. I love having these conversations. Um, I really, really enjoy them because I like to hear people's logic. So shout out to you again, Widow 21. Thank you, thank you. Special shout out to High Value Wives, one of my favorite content creators. Thank you so much. She got the eyes because she know it's gonna be some it's gonna be some drama tonight. It's gonna be some drama. Uh, so shout out to you, my dear. Thank you so much, and to your better half also. Please give my thanks as well. Um, what is what is this about? Right? Just Pearly Things has built a massive platform for herself. Over time, I've seen she's done street interviews. She does like a podcast interview where she's having interview like one-on-one discussions with people in her, I guess you say, um, in her studio. Right? She's getting a lot of success from it. She's getting a lot of attention. A lot of people are using her content and they are making content off of her content, like Kevin Samuels, like what people were doing with Kevin Samuels. You had Kevin Samuels was creating the food that people were using to eat off of, right? And so that's the difference. I feel like you have two different types of content creators. You have those who generate their own content with their own creativity and what they're doing, and then you have people who review the creative content that's produced by other people. Now, I remember Kevin Samuels used to talk a lot about it, that people were using his content and not giving him credit, and they were building massive channels off the back of his hard work. Some people were also saying that Kevin Samuels was stealing people's content. I would say not content, talking points, right? That's something that I hear a lot now on YouTube is like, hey, you're stealing so and so's talking points, or you're taking this, you're taking that. You guys, nothing's original, everything's recreated, right? um and I don't know if that's to be true about Kevin Samuels, and some people are know for a fact, they're like, no, this is where he got it from. Okay, well, bless your heart, right? He took something someone else said, he put his own spin on it, he repackaged it, and he sold it, and people bought it, right? So now people are saying now Pearly Things, Pearly Things is now taking someone's content, right? Or taking someone's talking points and she's regurgitating it. So now they're saying, right, like she's stolen Kevin Samuels' um views on relationship. She's just basically reusing what he said, and now, essentially pandering to like men or black men, and now she's making money off of it. If that's the case, right? Honestly, all this stuff, when it comes to red pill relationship talking points and talking about this, all this stuff, to me, it's so redundant, anyways. No one's really talking about solutions and then how to actually implement them. That's why the content within itself gets very boring and redundant to a point to where it's the same thing. Men are bashing women are bashing men are saying it's a woman's fault, women are saying it's the men's fault. It's this constant back and forth, and it's honestly, guys, it's draining. It's draining. I can't. I don't know about you, but I can't. It's hard for me to sit and listen to a lot of that stuff personally. But again, people are doing it because it is profitable, right? Again, shout out to Widow 21. So better half speaking. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. People are doing it because it's profitable, right? Like that's what the name of the game is. There's money to be made. Everyone's talking about what the problem is, and no one's talking about solutions, right? No one is talking about solutions, and then how to actually implement said solution. That's the issue. Again, everybody has a right to have an opinion, right? Everybody has a right to have an opinion. So, you know, what are they saying now, right? Just Pearly Things, white woman. She comes out, she has her own channel, she builds her own channel. She gets a lot of support. I've seen her get a lot of support from the black YouTube space. Men and black men have supported what she was saying. regardless of where she got the talking points from, regardless of whether or not you feel like she really truly believes what she's saying, she is putting on a show. She's entertaining people. She's providing content. She's making money. This is a business. That's what she's doing. She obviously is doing a great job. She has 1 million subscribers. Here I am. I start a channel to teach you guys how to properly navigate amongst, law enforcement, the criminal justice system, and y'all not really not the people who need to be paying attention ain't really paying attention, right? We pick and choose what we want to invest our time, money, and energy into, right? Relationship talk is popular right now. It is. That's what people are paying to see and listen to. She has a good formula. It's working. All right. Now let's fast forward. People, when you build a channel and you're successful, people want to be a part of that growth. They want to ride behind it. You guys, that's what they did with Pearly Things. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's business. It's called business. When Kevin Samuels was coming up, he did the same thing. When his channel, when he had 100,000 subscribers, guess what? He was collaborating with other people who had large channels in order to grow his channel. And it's not even so much to grow, it's to get exposure, right? You want to get more eyes on your product. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Shout out to Dre Blanco, member of the channel as well. He says, donation to the Daily World Donut Fund. You better coin the phrase and get that merch out here. Facts, facts, facts. I am gonna have to have a merch day while I sit down and put some merch together. This is interesting though, because it's weird. It was all good just a week ago, right? Just a week ago, when I go on my timeline, I see Pearly Things with other content creators, and people are like supporting her. If you go down the comment section, thank you, Pearly, for saying these perlicious things about Black men or men in general. I never really heard her specifically on the things that I've seen where she just kind of like for Black men, for Black men. She's always talking about men in general, right? From what I have seen and heard. So again, I don't want to over quote something and then I get it wrong. But based on for what I've seen, I haven't seen all of her content. Again, she's from the UK, right? So with that being said, she decides to do an interview with a gentleman by the name of Nick Fuentes. According to her, and according to, well, not according to her, but according to what they say about Nick Fuentes, they're saying that he is a white supremacist. They're saying he's a white supremacist and that he says anti-Semitic things, and that he's a racist. Obviously, if you're a white supremacist, that I guess includes you as being a racist. So this is who she decided to bring onto her show to interview. I don't know why, right? I don't know. She has a show where she has her own channel. She could do what she wants with it. You guys, she's like she's an amateur journalist, right? So she wants to interview whoever she wants. So this is who she decided to interview, right? I don't know. So now that she had a conversation, she brought this gentleman up. They're having a conversation, and they're talking about a lot of things. And she makes some statements about Black people and about slavery. Now, she made these statements. After the statements were made, another content creator, I can't remember his name. I tried to watch his video. It was difficult to watch. I won't even play it on here. It was just difficult to watch. But people did a review of his video and the interview. He was just really loud, and he was kind of cutting things off. I just couldn't watch it all, right? No disrespect or anything to his content. I just had a hard time getting through it. So appreciate you, Dre. After that interview, people were calling and responding under the video and calling Just Pearly Things. I don't even know what her real name is, but anyways, Just Pearly Things, calling her a racist. And people were saying, hey, I knew she was a racist this whole time. She's a culture vulture, right? She doesn't like Black people. Man, I've seen so many I was listening to was looking at someone's comment section under their video. They were saying she was a pervert and that she is manipulating black people and that she is like a spy for white supremacy. Dude, you guys listen, you know how I feel about these type of talks, because we as black people are very good at throwing the word racism and racist around. We're very cavalier with that word, even when it lacks there's no evidence to suggest that a person is. We'll use it anyway if we don't like what a white person says, or anybody that's not black for that matter. We've gotten very, very, very cavalier with throwing that word around. I talk about it on this channel all the time. And in this situation, when I started hearing it pop up and hearing people talk, I was like, oh, wow, what? I just saw her the other day. People, black folks and white, everybody was kumbaya and together on the stream. They're having a conversation. I think, what's that lady's name? She's another. She makes red pill content, or she talks about relationship stuff. Her name is Melanie King. They're all, I think they're in the UK with MT. They're all having a good time, having conversation. So at what point in time did she become a racist? Right? So she made some statements. Now people are saying she's a racist. I'm reading some comments. People are saying that they knew she was like this, and now there's this conversation spurring up about why are black people allowing white people in black spaces? If this is supposed to be a black space, why are we allowing white people and women, right? And I've always said that if you guys have this thing called the manosphere, the man's whatever, then why would you allow women into the space, right? Like I've always said that. It's always been my approach to it. But anyways, so in this particular situation, they are a lot of people are upset is what it seems like. A lot of content creators that I've seen so far that are talking about, some major content creators have expressed some concerns, and they're angry, and also saying that what she said was inappropriate, it was disrespectful, and a lot of different things. So that's what sparked me to want to look at it, because people were saying she was a racist. And then normally I don't get involved in red pill drama or manosphere drama. I just don't, because it doesn't really apply to me. But these type of topics I enjoy listening to, and also enjoy having the conversation and really kind of hearing what's actually being said and say, okay, well, let's really dive into it. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I looked up the guy she was interviewing, and yeah, Google says, and I'm gonna tell you what Google says. I pulled it up, that he is a white nationalist, white supremacist of this, or he's a white supremacist, racist. He doesn't believe the Holocaust happened, right? So there's these things he was a part of. January 6th, right? He was there at January 6th protesting, and a couple other things, right? So he has been associated with a lot of alt-right movements. He calls himself and considers himself to be an extremist, right? So yeah, so I mean, this is who she interviewed. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. We're gonna play clips from that interview, and I'm gonna play it appropriately, right? Well, I'm really going to make sure you guys get the full statements. Um, um, listen to my moderators too here tonight. Please, you guys know how I operate my channel. I don't believe in censorship. This is a place where everybody's voice matters. The only thing that'll get you blocked on here is if you're posting stuff, spam in the chat, posting a lot of, I would say, hate speech, right? Anything that YouTube deems as inappropriate. If you're expressing your opinion's welcome here. All right. So mods, please, by all means, we do not censor. I was on I was listening to a content creator earlier today about this topic. Yo, her mods gave it away. Shout out to Crimson Cure. Her mods are in there yanking people out, tearing people out the chat like left and right. And I was kind of frustrated because I wanted to read what people's opinions were. Listen, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear now, if you're talking trash, I'm gonna ask you to come up and defend your point, right? So my thing is, don't talk trash and be afraid to come up here and defend yourself, right? So mods, please, free speech over here. We don't censor, but we're not gonna allow you to put anything inappropriate in the chat. All right, so let's be clear on that. And my mods are good. My mods are good at doing that. They know I let it slide over here. I let it slide. I want to hear what you have to say. I don't censor. I don't block. I don't do that. You got to be just really off the chain for me to even consider that. So shout out to Daughter of Yah bringing the donut fund. Thank you so much. You guys know I'm all about the donut fund. I'm a Krispy Kreme hustler. Okay. So shout out to you, Daughter of Yah. Where are we? All right. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Listen, I love a good debate and I love intellectual conversation. What are my issues with what's going on right now is that I believe that some people had a knee-jerk reaction. I listened to I would say I listened to 2 hours and 30 minutes of this interview. And I didn't have a chance to listen to the other 30 minutes. I got busy. I had to do some other stuff. But let me tell you about this interview. I thought this was, just first and foremost, let me just be clear. This was a great interview. I actually thought it was a great interview. I thought it was a great interview. It was some great questions that were being asked. I was actually very intrigued about the responses that Nick Fuentes gave. And there were some things that he said that I absolutely agreed with, you guys. And so I thought it was a good, I see, listen, I told people here on this channel that I would love to have a white supremacist come over here so I can interview them. I would love to interview a white supremacist. Not to say he's a white supremacist, right? But I'm just saying in general, I actually been trying to find a way to contact somebody in the KKK or something so I could bring them up on the channel, ask them questions. Would like to interview them. But anyways, the things that they were talking about, I thought they were spot on. It was very intriguing. It was an intriguing conversation. I enjoyed the conversation. And yeah, now there are things that he said that I didn't agree with. You guys, that's what it's about. She's interviewing somebody, right? I think people have made it seem like, well, because you brought him up here and you're associating with him means that you accept his views. You guys, come on, we got to be adults, right? We got to be adults. When we look at things, try your best to be objective. Just because you bring someone up for an interview doesn't mean that you share in their mindset, share in their ideology. If you have a channel and your channel is about interviewing, asking questions, then listen. All right. I think people really took this interview or some of the things that she said, blew it way out of proportion. Way out of proportion. And that's just me being honest, right? It's me being honest. Two things could exist at the same time. Someone could have an incorrect idea or understanding of a subject matter, and then someone could be a wicked, evil person, right? Those are two separate things, right? And I think because someone, meaning Pearly Things, did not express or articulate, or in my opinion, was not properly or didn't understand some of the things that she was saying. I want to say understand. I would say she wasn't educated enough in the subject matter. And that's a problem. When you're talking about things that require expert delicacy and understanding, and then also consideration and respect for the people that you are referring to. If you get it wrong, it's a bad look. Period. And so that's to me what happened. Someone who was ignorant in what she was talking about. It was out of her wheelhouse, right? And I think that's kind of what ends up happening. People I say it all the time on this channel. YouTube has created an environment where they allow anybody to just come up here and just talk about anything, and they have no type of credentials, they have no type of knowledge, or they don't have a respectable level of knowledge to be able to speak on the things that they're talking about. And unfortunately, someone said y'all give Pearl too many passes. No, not at all I can do is speak on what that interview resulted in. I see someone who, again, was unequipped and ignorant in what she was trying to convey. And that's what I saw, right? That's what I saw. If you don't know what you're talking about and you don't understand the context of the content, then don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. You know, I had the same issue with another content creator where they were talking about criminal justice system, police issues, and things like that. And I called her out. Well, I didn't call her out, right? I was correcting some of the misinformation that she was putting out. And it turned to be a thing, right? It turned out to be a thing. And so again, if you specialize in makeup, hair, and nails, that's what you're good at, then don't come over here and talk to somebody about how to do surgery when that person's a doctor doing surgery, right? So again, it's like, you know, you have to be able to, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, that's not my strong suit. I do it all the time on this channel. Hey, I want to talk about this, I have my thoughts on this, but guess what? This is not my area of expertise, and I don't try to pretend like it is. And so I think that conversation was way too advanced because honestly, I could tell I understood what she was trying to say in the midst of the conversation because I listened to the entire context of it. I watched the entire thing. So I understood the context of what was being said. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And again, I'm not going to speak for, I'm just saying what my interpretation of as to what was being said, if that makes sense. Coney gives a $5 super chat. He says, some of the content creators were just looking for excuses to cancel her. She is more successful than them and they are hating. She took over. She did take over that space. She commanded that space. She created her. I didn't even know she had 1 million subscribers, you guys. Last I checked, when I remember seeing some content about her, I think this was probably a couple months ago. Because I see shorts that she does. I've seen her other stuff like just kind of pass through. I see people reacting to her video. I've seen her content, but I never went to her channel. And it wasn't no disrespect to her or anything. I'm just not really into the that type of content. Like that's just not my thing. But I hear her debating. She debates pretty well from what I've seen. I've seen people react to some of her videos. Case boy, I seen TLA do a great reaction video when she was debating with Hafiz, and then TLA also was on I think Valuetainment with her or something like that, and they had a whole debate. So that's where I get a chance to see a lot of those things, and some of the things she made some great sense about. There are things that she says I don't agree with too, right? But that's true for anybody. But I didn't know. I've never looked at her channel. I never knew how big her channel was, dude. She has 1 million subscribers. That's not easy, you know. Takes a lot of hard work. But I have seen a lot of male YouTubers really push her platform. So now you're calling her racist. I don't know. Again, I'm just the type of person. I'm not quick to call somebody a racist. Like, let me hear what was said. Let me see what was going on. So yeah, we are going to have a great conversation tonight. We're going to have a great conversation tonight. So shout out to you, Coney. I think there's some truth to that. I think, you know, from what I've been hearing, you know, people have been galvanizing, banding together like Voltron to throw stones at her. And unfortunately, you know, jealousy is a thing. You know, that does happen. People can be envious of a person's channel. That can happen. You know, what I've also been hearing is like, okay, well, this is a white woman talking about Black issues. I haven't heard her talk about Black issues. I've heard her talk about issues involving men. So again, we're turning around and saying, okay, well, we've invited her to a Black space, and it was a setup, right? Like she infiltrated in to kind of do whatever, and here's my thing. I say it all the time. I say it all the time. When I came into YouTube, what I've seen men's spaces allow people in to have conversations, and you don't even know these people have avatars. You don't know what they look like. They start and build an entire channel. What is her name? What is her name? Matter of fact, this chick is from the UK as well, right? Jessica X. You guys, I've said it before, right? She put a photo up of herself, and then she starts pandering to men, and guess what? She makes content about men, what men want to hear, you guys, and the men just eat it up over here, and they help build her channel. And I'm like, you guys don't even know what she looks like. For all you know, she could be a white woman from the UK, right? But you don't know. You don't know, do you? Right? So again, this is what I'm saying. So when you talk about, okay, manosphere, but you got women content creators coming in here. Listen, I'm just saying it just was odd, right? It was just odd to me. So I'm not downing Jessica X and what she does on her channel. Power to her. I have no issues with her or the content that she makes. I had a chance to have a conversation with her one time, and I asked her, I said, well, I would love to talk to you. You should come over my channel. We should have a conversation. But if we have a debate, you'd have to cam up, And she said, I'm not camming up. I don't cam up on YouTube. Right. So she was very clear. And she still wanted to have a debate. I said, well, I said I don't debate unless you cam up. So there's nothing for us to talk about. So listen, I understand. I just thought that, if it's a man's space, let it be a man's space. But you have women in the space of men who are siphoning off of, or I guess you would say, taking advantage of that by, and sometimes in some cases, what I've seen, placating to men, and they're making money off of it. Now, listen, it's none of my business, right? I'm not here to police people's channels, YouTube channels. Do what you want to do, right? But I've seen some content creators that have been very disingenuous, and that's all I'm saying. All right, very disingenuous. Again, at the end of the day, it's about money. This is a great question, Nathan. Would you consider doing a collaboration with Destiny? That's another good point, right? I just learned about Destiny for the exact same reason I learned about Pearly Things. Black YouTubers were pushing Destiny's content because of what Destiny was saying, right? And so I've seen a couple videos with him, and I actually wanted to have a conversation with Destiny, but not about relationship stuff, but about policing. I wanted to get his views and perspective on policing and solutions. I like his debating style. And again, I like talking to intellects. And so I really enjoyed his discussion, because some of his views in reference to his combating, I called him what was I calling him? I think I was calling him the red pill assassin. I was calling Destiny the red pill assassin because he was just bodying some of the red pill guys and their talking points. Because again, it's a difference when you have a true understanding of something and you know it for yourself and you understand it, versus when you're taking what someone else has said and you're just repeating it. So what he's doing, he's bodying people who just repeat stuff, right? But when you have an understanding, when you have real life experience and you can speak to that, the conversation is totally different, And so, yeah, I would love to have a conversation with Destiny, but it wouldn't be on our relationship stuff, though, right? It's just really just picking his brain as far as what is his thoughts on this, what is his thoughts on that, and really getting having a great conversation. So yeah, if anybody knows how to get in contact with Destiny, yeah, please tell him, hit him up for me. I would love to have a conversation with him. I think that'd be dope. Definitely be dope. Coney again with the back to back. Thank you, brother, for this. He says she doesn't even talk about Black people, and they're saying she's a culture vulture. Make it make sense. Yeah, you know what? That's also what I wanted to touch on. I put a list of things that I've been hearing, that I've been picking up from people's conversations. People have their own opinion, right? People have their own opinion. I'm not here to bash anybody else's interpretation of what they watched or what they feel her to be. But we're going to talk about it over here, and I have a different opinion, right? Culture vulture. Let's do that, because that's on my list to talk about, right? Who else have they said is a culture vulture? Because we got to have this real conversation, Black people. We got to have it because you guys have been a little bit off the chain, right? Culture vulture. Do you know what a culture vulture is? Because there's always the word, the real word, and the word that Black people put together, right? A culture vulture is just a person who's obsessed with the arts, right? Like that's it. Like you are really into the arts, right? Like that's like arts is like the arts, right? Um, but then there's also a version where when you talk about it from hip hop, rap, from an urban perspective, it means when you have someone who appropriates, right, another culture in order to make money off of them. I don't know what it is about us as Black people that we think we own everything, right? We have this idea that we own a name, we own a word, we own a hairstyle, we own the way we dress, we own this. You guys, being Black is amazing, right? We are trendsetters, we're creators, we're visionaries, inventors, we're very skilled, very talented, right? But other people are too, right? That's not something that's exclusive to being Black, but we do put our little sauce on everything, right? Like you got to imagine we put an extra little sauce, we make it our own. So what I'm saying is this: it's a beautiful thing when people admire your creativity. It's a beautiful thing when people say, "Oh, I wish I had lips like that, I had braids like that, hair like that, slick top, right? Or I had a body like this, a shape like that." That's a beautiful thing. I love that the way they dance, the music they create, whatever. Okay, cool. Black folks, yeah, all right, that's what's up. But then it's like we get mad when someone wants to mimic it. You guys, that's a beautiful thing, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So this idea of people saying, well, they make money, they finesse Black folks. No, Black people allow themselves to be finessed, right? Like let's stop making up stuff. You know, there's this sense of I say it all the time. I say it all the time, right? We suffer from accountophobia. Black people are accounophobic, right? For whatever reason, a lot of us are accounophobic and we suffer. We suffer from it where we just hate to be held accountable. Listen, the reality is this: we're trendsetters. People say, oh, we make music. Everybody wants, okay, cool, yeah. And then people take it, they remix it, they do something with it, they want to be a part of it. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is we don't own it, right? The problem is we give it away. The problem is we're not unified. The problem is we're not on code, right? The problem is we don't support each other. So then when people come in, they like, oh, this is a great idea you guys created. I'm going to find a way to make money off of it. And then they do. And then we get mad. And then we sit there and then we support that they took something that you created and they repurpose it, they package it, and they sell it. And then you turn around and buy it from them. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? It's someone else's fault for taking a great idea that you created and then selling it like everybody else would do. You guys, it's called capitalism. You don't own an idea. You own what you own. And you have to put paper on it. Listen, just the other day I was looking, Jordan is trying to sell the Hornets, right? Probably one of the only Black basketball team owners. He's ready to sell the team for one point. It's like $7 billion. You guys, there's power in ownership. If you don't see value in owning and supporting and building and practicing group economics, that's not anybody else's business. And when they show up, come in your neighborhood, set up shop, and start making money off of you, you can't turn around and complain. So this whole culture vulture concept that we like to throw around, oh, they're culture vultures. They see something that we created or we established or we started that was good, and they participate in it because it's valuable and it makes money. We're mad because we didn't take ownership of it, build it for ourselves, and then charge them. No, why? You're mad. You got finesse. You guys, this is a hustle. Life's a hustle. Wake up. Wake up. When I hear them talk about DJ Vlad, oh, he's a culture vulture. Then I see everybody he interviews are black. Then all the people who watch his channel is black. You guys, that's not a culture vulture. That's someone who. You, does that make sense to anybody? DJ Vlad exists because black people support his channel, right? Who's another one? I heard someone talk about Eminem was a culture vulture. Jesus Christ, you guys. Eminem's a culture vulture? You just undermine his talent? He's talented. He's talented. He'll go down in history as one of the greatest rappers. You think you own being a rapper? That being a rapper is black? Oh, it's a black thing. No one else can do it. What? See, and that's, again, I always say it. Some of us sound worse than the racist people we complain about.